Okay, so you've got this amazing idea for a story, right? But then you actually sit down to write it, and you're just stuck. Sound familiar? Well, you're in exactly the right place. Today, we're going to break down how to take those cool ideas and turn them into stories that people can't put down, all by building a solid, engaging plot. Oh, yeah, we have all been there. That blinking cursor on a blank page, it can be so intimidating, can it? You start to think that great writers must have some kind of secret magic power. But here's the thing, that's not really how it works. Because what if I told you that storytelling isn't actually magic? It's a craft. It's got a structure, kind of like a blueprint that anyone, and I mean anyone, can learn. And that's exactly what we're going to walk through together today, giving you the tools to build a fantastic story from pretty much nothing. So first things first, we got to start with the absolute foundation of any story. So what exactly is a plot? It's actually pretty simple. The plot is just the what happens next part of your story. It's the series of events that carries your characters from the very first page all the way to the last. You can think of it like the engine that drives the whole thing forward. Now here's the cool part. Pretty much every great plot, whether it's a huge Hollywood movie or a short story for your English class, can be broken down into a simple 4-part blueprint. This is your secret formula for success. Okay, here they are. You've got the beginning, which is your introduction, the build-up, also known as the rising action, the climax, that's the main event, and finally the ending, or the resolution. To make it even easier to remember, just think start, problem, big moment, and how it all wraps up. Let's dive into what each of these really means. Your beginning is all about setting the stage. This is where we meet your main character and get a feel for their world. A really great beginning also drops a little hint about what's coming. A simple line like, "It was a quiet evening and I was walking home alone," well, that immediately creates a feeling of isolation, and you kind of know that quiet probably isn't going to last. Next up is the build-up. This is where you introduce the problem or the conflict. The stakes get higher, the tension starts to crank up, and your reader is officially hooked. When you add a sentence like, "Suddenly I heard footsteps behind me," the whole mood changes, right? Now we're all asking, whoa, what's going to happen? And that leads us to the climax. This is the big moment. It's the highest point of tension in your story, that turning point where your character has to face the problem head on. This is the scene your reader has been waiting for, where everything comes to a head. And finally, the ending. This is where you give us the resolution. The problem gets solved, the tension is released, and the story comes to a nice, satisfying close. A good ending doesn't leave your readers scratching their head. It gives them a real sense of completion. Okay, so knowing the 4 parts is awesome, but how do you actually use them? Let's get practical. We are going to build a plot together right now with a super simple 5-step method. Let's start with an idea that we can all relate to, a lost item. It's simple, it's universal, and it's the perfect little seed to grow a full story from. So here are our 5 steps. We already have our simple idea. Now, we just need to add a problem, build up some tension, create a climax, and then wrap it all up with a clear ending. Let's see how it works. So let's combine steps 1 and 2. Our idea is a lost item, and our problem is, I lost my bag on the bus. Boom, just like that, we have a goal and a conflict. The story has officially started. Now for step 3, let's build that tension. This sentence creates a sense of panic, right? A bit of uncertainty. The reader starts wondering, are they ever going to find it? What was in the bag that was so important? See, this is how you get your audience invested in the story. And here it is, our climax. This is the turning point, a moment of surprise and, hopefully, a potential resolution. All that tension we've been building leads right up to this single pivotal moment. And finally, a clear and satisfying ending. The problem is solved, the lost bag is found, the story feels complete. See how those 5 simple steps took a basic idea and turned it into a mini-story with a beginning, a middle, and an end? You can do this with any idea. Now, knowing what to do is half the battle for sure, but knowing what not to do, well, that's just as important. Let's quickly go over some common mistakes that can really weaken a story. Okay, a really big mistake is just having a bunch of random things happen that don't really connect. Or worse, having no climax at all. Nothing exciting happens. Instead, focus your energy on one main event and make sure your story builds towards a strong, exciting peak. And please, don't just let your story fizzle out with a weak or rushed ending. A good ending is absolutely crucial. All right, for those of you writing stories for school, and especially for exams like the Cambridge O-Level, this part is for you. Examiners are looking for very specific things, so let's cover a few tips to help you get those top grades. Are you noticing a pattern here? It all comes back to these same core ideas. Examiners want a plot that is clear and makes sense. They want a story that's focused on one main event. A strong climax is a must-have, and a satisfying ending shows that you really understand how to structure a complete story. If you can master these points, you're well on your way. And there you have it. That secret formula, it's not so secret after all, is it? You now have the blueprint, the 4 essential parts and the 5 practical steps to build a great structure for any story you want to tell. That blank page doesn't have to be so scary anymore. You've got the tools, you've got the framework. All that's left is your own imagination. So the only real question left is, what story are you going to bring to life?